So 2-0 it finished. We also got to see Rodri come on in the 60th minute for just his second appearance since September. He came on for Phil Foden, but it was Phil Foden who got man of the match in this game. As it stands right now, Manchester City are in the top of their group. Next up for them is Al Ain. Juventus are also in the same group as City. But let me start with you, Nedum, on Phil Foden. Is he going to be a first-choice starter in the new season? Is he throwing his hat into the ring and saying next season's going to be better?
Oh, that's a good question. I think this is a good way to start, with the goal and with the assists. And I don't necessarily think he was brilliant in the game outside of those moments. But it's good to see him start there and to have some of that link up and to have a positive impact. I think the timing of that goal was great for him as well, because he's been very well spoken about that in this last season. It's been terrible for him, relatively speaking, given the fact he was Premier League Player of the Season the year before. But I think some of the link-up was there. There were certain bits of rust and decision-making in terms of not knowing whether to pass to the person at this time. Are you in the right position? But I think that chemistry will come. I think looking at some of the talent that they have, especially now with those attacking areas, I think the link-up player's got potential to be really, really good. So for him to be off the mark and in that manner, it makes Pep think about it. And I think for these group games, Guardiola's spoken about how he's going to be making changes. So this game itself is great. It'll probably look different in the next game. But if they do make it to knockout rounds, then that's when you see what Guardiola really sees as being his best side. Because I think that's when the players who he really has all his faith and all his belief in, they'll start to be starting these games and they'll be playing longer periods as well. But for now, Foden's in there. And I'd say it's good to see him back.
Phil Foden, new season ahead. Fresh start for him.
Well, he had a bad time with England. He had a bad season by his standards last year, there's no doubt. But there's also no doubt he is a supreme talent now. Dare I say it, he's not the only one at Man City, but maybe he could look in the mirror a little bit more and say, am I doing enough? Am I doing enough in terms of my training and the lifestyle and all the stuff that you have to do in this day and age that we didn't really have to do? But today's modern game demands it. And it was kind of sorry to see him be the way he was last year when we've witnessed over the last couple of years prior to that, we've seen him destroy teams. I mean, some of those performances, I remember the game at Anfield, one of the games at Anfield when he played on the right-hand side, coming in on his left foot, pinging the ball in the top corner and just running amok. And I don't know why he got away from that, but, maybe just confidence as well. But he certainly can get back to it. I think City are just an intriguing story, full stop. Because everybody's waiting to see if they can get back to somewhat of this juggernaut team that everybody was frightened to death to play, apart from probably Liverpool and Arsenal. They've bolstered the middle of the park with Reinders coming in from Milan. Nico Gonzalez was signed for 60 million last January. He hasn't played much, and Rodri's obviously back fit again, so they've bolstered that area. So that shouldn't be such an issue in terms of getting dominated in the middle of the park. Again, the questions will be, the playmakers that they had that lost their form, Foden, Savinho, Grealish struggled, Doku inconsistent, Marmoush came in and looked lively. Can they supply Erling Haaland? And can he figure out a back line that is consistent and has some continuity and can cut out the basic sort of mistakes that they were making? So I think there's so many subplots for Manchester City, but of course Phil Foden getting back to form would certainly help. But I think in these games you're not going to learn a lot apart from, I was going to say players getting their fitness, but I don't know if actually that's what they're doing at this stage of June.
Frank, you watched this game. What stood out to you on the City side of things?
Well, that's funny when Nathan was talking about the good start for Foden. I was thinking that it was more an ending of a season than the start of a new season. I don't think they are in a pre-season. In my mind, they're more finishing the previous season, but whatever. But, it's a little bit better, I would say, at some point. But overall, we could see that the WAC had some chances to score goals, that they're still fragile at the back. They're still looking for something special, but I think they won't find it. It's too early. To make a statement about Foden is too early. To everything, to all the criticals that we can get, I will be too early. But it's a good win. I was happy to see Cherki playing, even if he had a shy start. He has to settle down. He doesn't speak English. He will have to understand what Pep wants from him. But that was interesting to see him playing alongside some others, and let's see how it works for Manchester City. But I'm not convinced. I didn't see anything changing tactically with the pace of the game. It's the same City that I've seen the whole season long before.
City bore Frank.
Sounds
To be fair, they bored most of us at the end of last year. You have the answer to this
by the
question.
end,
You must have the answer to Frank's question.
the answer to
We're
Frank's
not
question.
continuing with this show until you have the answer to Frank's question. Are we at the end of last season or are we at the beginning of the new season?
Yeah, what came
Where are we,
first, the
Frank?
chicken or the egg, Frank?
Don't get no.
Frank, it's the beginning.
Well, I mean, it's really. It
really?
does feel like it's at the end, but it's probably technically is the end. It is the end, but it feels like it's the beginning.
So is Modric staying to the
That's
start
what
of the
I
new
mean.
season, or is he
That's
finishing
why.
the end of the season?
You know who'll know the answer to this? Nader Manua.
That's right, I do. And let's put it this way. Is the Gold Cup happening at the end of the last season or the start of the new one? Would the Euros be the start of the start of the next one or the end of the last one? I think this is essentially the closing off of the season. But because it's club-based, it feels a bit different. They'll finish this tournament, have 3 weeks off, happy days. It's the last bit of the season.
All right, I don't want it to go down a rabbit hole.
No, we shouldn't.
Tendency to go down a rabbit hole, particularly with stuff like this. So that's fine. I just thought I'd ask the question.
You know who'll definitely have an opinion on this is Gab Marcotti. Maybe we could make sure he answers that question on the latest Gab and Jules show. That podcast will be dropping wherever you do get your podcasts out twice a week. Make sure to stay up to date with it.